So we're back with part 2 of my building a fantasy island. If you missed the first part, be sure to go and watch that now so this all makes sense. Otherwise, you're going to be completely confused of what's going on, or if you just want to skip that altogether, go for it. And you can see last I left off is right here. So if I reset, we're building outwards to get the bottom of our island. So we're going to continue with that, and we're going to hopefully get this main hill done today and start building our castle, as well as working on more of these islands out here. We'll also refine our bridge and see what else we can get done. But be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. So let's go ahead and start going with this. So we're going to start building outwards, and you could use this technique if you're not even following along. If you're doing your own build, you can use the same technique to build the bottom base of your floating island. It just looks so much better, I think, when you're doing stuff like this instead of just doing like flat, big square islands. They're so ugly. So you really want to, work on something that's a little bit more engaging and appealing to the eye, because otherwise, I don't know why people make square islands when you could just do a little bit of effort for yourself. I know square islands are easier to build. They certainly don't look as good. And I'm guilty of making some square islands in the past. I've done that, especially like noob to pro videos. I do square islands all the time. Totally get it. So one thing to note, even though we're just kind of like randomly placing blocks here, if you did a framework like I did, where you do these measurements and such, and see how I have the top like circle area for where we're going to connect to, you don't want to like just keep doing this the entire time, because this needs to ultimately connect to the top, right? So we need to connect all the way to the top part that we're building towards. So what you could do alternatively is you can build up to it. So like if you wanted to, you can do something like this and just build like a little staircase, and depending on how close you're getting, you can kind of eyeball it. Vary your steps so they're not exactly the same. If there's like two, if they're like 3, 4, if they're like 4 blocks, it's gonna look a little weird. So just keep going, and you can see we're getting closer. And you also want to kind of back off and see the shape of it. See how it's kind of going up. It's actually looking pretty good. So we'll probably go like 2, and then 2, and then 2, and then maybe out a little bit, and then again. So it's looking pretty good. We're heading definitely in the right direction, but we're gonna connect about right there. So basically almost like you're making a tornado. The shape of this can vary. Like you can go more round if you want to. I like the more pointy. It just looks better in my opinion. And even better if you're going to vary like the material up. So like instead of just all grass, you maybe use like stone in here every now and then. So we'll do that. We'll break it up a little bit. It's going to be part of our polish or detail, because I think it'll look so much better if we do. So these are really fun builds to do. If you don't build currently in islands and all you care about is coins, you're really missing out on what the game's really all about. Like this is the other part of the game. So if you're just like, oh, I'm bored because the economy's broken right now and duping, this is really what you're missing out on. There we go. Okay, so we got our connection here. Let's start building around based on this. So I'm going to spare you the boring details of stacking these. All right, a little snapshot of progress again. So you can see it's just getting really close. And the nice thing about it is keeping this really sharp at the bottom, by the way, also reduces the number of blocks you use. Okay, so we sealed this up. I'm going to show you what it looks like so far. It is nighttime, so you won't be able to see everything very clearly, but at least you can kind of see and get an idea. So you'll notice that as far as my original drawing goes, at least my circle here, you'll notice we're kind of offset a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue down. And how it's going to work is it's going to be extended even beyond this a little bit. We're going to do a little wedge. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So we're going to go over here and we're going to extend this out. Yeah, something like this would work. And we're going to come back and reconnect. All right, there we go. Now we need to find the center. So this is probably like about this center. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down. About right there is good. So this is going to be our center here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to build outwards from this up towards this. So we got to go up a few blocks. We'll probably do like a little sharper at first, and we'll continue down a little bit from here. Something like that should be good. So now all we got to do is continue this down 2 blocks around the edge, and it's pretty simple. You can see it's not that hard to do this. The one thing I would say is try to keep it down 2 blocks though. Don't do like single block ledges if you can. It looks a little weird. Like try to do 2 like that. That looks good. And some of these could be 3. All right, so over here we're almost done. See the profile look? It's getting better. We just need to fix that. So that'll fill in. So let's hop down. We'll start filling this in. I don't know about you, but I don't like wasted space. Like this is a lot of space to be wasting. So even the inside of the hill is going to be used. Probably use it for like farms in the future. We'll see what we can do with it. Okay, so this is filled in. Let's go and fill in a little bit more here. And the one thing I still haven't figured out yet is how we're going to do the actual castle, because there is that, and we need to make sure we have proper layout for it. Okay, so we got our profile here to the mountain, so you can check this out from the spawn. So this is the spawn area, and you can see how it looks. So when you first load in, you see this kind of like floating island, and then we have a bridge. We're gonna have a crazy cool castle over there, but obviously we want this to be a hillside, because if you look at the reference that I had from the last video, you can see it's got like kind of the castle comes down on the hill. So right now we're about like right here, right? We got this flat top and we got to do this hillside. So we're going to go and start working on the hillside. And then what we'll do is we'll build our castle into that. So what we're going to do is we're going to build this upwards, kind of like this. We're just going to do a single stack on all of these, just so it's one block taller. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to bring this in. So how we're going to do that is we're going to do one block on all of these. So there's going to be one more block on all of these all the way around. So we're going to go one block in and then up, kind of like this. So we got to round it. So again, it's important to keep things hollow. You don't want to be like making giant mass areas. You're going to run out of blocks quick. You're going to be hitting lots of block limits. All right, so you can see it's starting to round a little bit. So we just need to keep doing this. We're going to continue to round it up. And then we're going to carve into this. We're going to remove a lot of this again. So we're just basically building a hill just to reconstruct it again so we can build our fortress. I think the castle is going to take us the longest after this. All right, so we got a nice looking hill, and what I'm going to do is I'm just moving my bridge for a moment. I don't really like the location of it because I want to show more supports to it. We'll mix it up with like moss and stuff. We'll go about like right here. Let's see if that's going to be long enough. Oh yeah, that's plenty long. So the hard part is going to be coming up with like a really cool looking style to the bridge. Problem is we don't have a support. We don't have ground for that to come down to. Something like this could work where it's just solid and it gets thinner and then it gets solid again to the other side. This would have worked if we had some fog. You know, we could still do this. It could just kind of fade off or crumple. You know, like it could be like fragments. So we could do something like this where it kind of has the arch and then it goes down. So yeah, I think we're going to go with that. So let's find our center here. So it's going to be a little to the right. And I think our bridge needs to be just a little longer for us to pull this off. All right, so we're 53 blocks, which is pretty good. 53 is not bad because we need that odd number. So if 52 would be 26 blocks. So we're going to go to our center. It would be 26 and then the final middle. I like right there. Let's just double check that. Yeah, it looks good. We're going to come out to the edge here and we're going to draw it out. So it's going to go like 5 and then we'll continue outwards. Wonder how that'll look. Let's see. It's kind of cool. Not great yet. It's cool, but not great. So it'll be 3 blocks, 3 blocks. So the base thickness of this is going to have to be 3. And then we can go out like this. And then we get wider. And then we go out like that. 2 and then 2. And then we're going to go across and we're going to come back down the same way. And this is going to get a little bit of a design. It's going to come back out like that and such. And this one's going to go 5 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to start back down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we'll go 3 here. And then we'll go 2. That should work. The same thing here. This will be 3, 5. And this is going to be 3, 2, all the way down. This side will be a little bit more complicated because of the fact that we don't really have a cliff. But we'll solve this. We'll solve this. I'm not too worried about it. So that's the current shape for the bridge. We're going to continue working on it. Like I said, it's going to go down and it's going to shatter. So this one's going to connect to an island. That's going to solve our issues here. All right. So we'll have something like that. It'll connect to. We'll do a similar floating base. And then what we'll do is we'll do little floating islands down. So they'll kind of curve around. Okay. So we have our hillside, like I said. And now it's time to plan the castle. We're going to start working on the castle part. And you can see how tall that's going to be. That's going to be huge. So I've got some concepts here. Well, first, what we're going to do, though, is we're going to take a screenshot of this. That way we could draw our castle shape. So we're going to go and screenshot that. We're going to bring this into Photoshop. We're going to start drawing. So again, given some of our inspirations here, you can see we've got lots of different styles of towers. I really like this one. Check this out. So we got the bridge, obviously, and they got like this really cool spire. That's a cool idea. Basically make another structure on the other side. That's a neat idea. Didn't really think about doing that. And then what I like about these are the really pointy spires. I also like the fortresses around here. They're kind of squared off in different layers. And then they got some other bridges here and there. We're probably going to do something similar to that where there's like kind of the fortress feel and then we can start kind of carving into it so it's got like these nice details. But I really like this one. So again, fortress with a nice entrance here where the bridge goes, and then you got a couple spires here. So we don't have a big space though. Like if you think about it, like if you look at this, we don't have a ton of space. We don't have like a giant island. We're trying to fill up like a small area. So how we set this up is going to be very important. And so we're going to go ahead and sketch this out. So I'm thinking right here we'll do some kind of entrance, like some kind of like a little bit of a shoulder here, like a little watchtower kind of effect. So you're basically entering into here, some kind of gate system. And remember, I want some of this to be like a hillside. So I kind of want the hill to come up a little bit right here. And then we'll have a bit of a fortress here, maybe a spire type thing. I don't know, maybe like kind of a pointy spire type structure here. We'll have, let me go for like a different color here. In fact, I should have used red. Let's go and make this red. Ultimately, our giant spire is going to be up here, and we're going to make it steeper, about that height. We might bring it down a little bit. So they basically have like a 4 spire kind of a feel to it. There's like 4 of them, one on the other side and one in front. And then they've got like these kind of pillar things. Another step out. I mean, you just see it's like point. They just basically put spikes all over the thing. And then I like the little bridge here to like another spire. We could do like something like that, or maybe there's like another spire over here. So you get like a bridge. It doesn't have to be long. Remember, our blocks, we don't have that many blocks too. So, you know, you can't make too much detail here or else it's just not going to work. Because remember, like you look at the block size, that's a block. So good luck. But we'll have like a little entrance here, another spire over here. So it'll be a smaller spire. It'll be like a skinny one, or maybe a stairway, and this will go up. Little gnome hat there, little elf hat. And then this will come down. We'll do a couple more spikes. So come down here. And then this is going to need some kind of like palace, kind of like fortress kind of feel down here. So we're going to make this kind of fortressy. It's going to be pretty much a square area. And then we're going to add a little bit of hill to this as well. So it's going to be hill around. So that'll connect. And then I kind of like that there's like kind of these structures that almost church-like, but not quite. So we'll do some kind of building like this. This will be like a roof. And then the other side of the roof part here, a little bit of that window kind of filled to it, like stained glass. And this will be like a wall here. We'll just bring that all the way down. And then we're going to put another layer to it because everything's all about the layers. It's all about the layers. So put another layer here. I think we could afford to put like another tower right here. So let's put another tower back here. It'll fill in nicely. Actually, let's make it the same size as this. So we'll figure out what this is. We'll make some templates and then we'll copy them. So we'll have a little watchtower here in the back. So we can do like little pointy spires in the edges, like little pointy daggery kind of things, like claws. We can make like these like claw looking things. And then I do like the idea, it's growing on me. I really like the idea of maybe like another passageway. So we could do like a gate here as well. So it's like a gate bridge. And you walk through it and there's like another structure here. So you can walk in there, put a little tower here, put a little base here. Maybe like it's got some kind of like entrance here as well. It's basically a walkway that you can walk through. So you're gonna walk through there to the bridge, and then it can be kind of like this, right? So you're walking up this spire kind of thing. So it kind of goes up right here to a cool looking tower. Another one. We'll just copy these. I don't know. Looks like a horse right now. Maybe do a couple of these. That's kind of cool. And we can do the same thing here. Branch it out. Another like kind of claw looking like tower. Put some doors here. And then this is going to be like another one of those, as are all of these, in case you were wondering. This thing here is going to go down and then it's going to break off, kind of a fragment, kind of floating system. It's like shattered. And then so since we're going to do this, we can add a little bit of the hill kind of fill to this as well. So a little bit more mass there. I was thinking it'd be kind of cool if we made these like a little bit more rounded, like they're kind of like wedge instead of just flat saucers. Kind of make them more like rock-like, so they're kind of built up a bit. So instead of just being a flat kind of area, so this would be the blocks. So it'd be like 3 layers up, kind of like that. And what else? Oh, and of course we're gonna do the fog. The fog is gonna be all around here. We're gonna need lots of glass. This area is gonna be pretty cool. So essentially what we're gonna do is we're gonna take gray blocks, like stone, depending on the area. So it'll get all gray down here. So it looks much more like realistic that it goes to hard rock. It goes from dirt to more like a hard rock. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take kind of like a lava look, and we're gonna lava out the bottom areas. So it's gonna be scattered glowing kind of down there. So it'll be hotter, a little bit of red. So it'll look like it gets like really hot down there. So yeah, I think this is a good start. So we know what we need to do. Basically, the first thing we should work on is probably doing this mini structure first, because the mini structure is gonna give us like an idea of how to do these without doing all this first. So let's go ahead and start a little bit of this, and then get the spire figured out on this side, and then this will be a bigger project for sure. All right, so over here, we're gonna have a gate. I'm thinking it's gonna be this wide. So we'll go up. Let's just get the shape done. And once we do this one, it'll be a little easier for the next one. Yeah, something like that. It's a pretty big gate. We can even go higher. Higher is gonna make it feel more formal, more royal. So the taller the gate, the better. So in here, what we'll do is we're gonna use the same kind of sizing. So it's gonna be something like this, like 3 across. And then this is gonna be 4. So we'll do like there, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we'll go up, same height. Actually, we'll do smaller height because it goes into a smaller door. It's like a smaller entrance at first. And then it goes, once you start getting to the more formal building, think of something like this, and then it goes bigger. And this part right here is just gonna be completely enclosed because we do have a structure to build. We can make like a ladder over here in the back or something, like maybe it goes into a door that will take you to like a ladder room. So you'll basically go in here, In fact, we'll make it taller. We don't need a door on it. And there's going to be a ladder right here that goes up into the spire. And so now what we need to do is a rooftop for this. So we'll go ahead and build it up like this. Again, this is glass for a reason. We can easily reconstruct this. We can replace the blocks after we like it. And then I think we could probably do like a window here. We'll do 2 windows. So 5 blocks is going to give us the ability to do a gap here. So that'll be our windows. So we're going to come in here. There's a ladder room to the spire. The spire is going to be over the top of us. And I think what we'll probably do is I'll do a little bit of like dirt up, you know, like grass that goes up a bit. So it'll be like this, just to kind of give it a little bit of that grit that it needs, because it is kind of mountainous. Even though it's floating islands, it's still mountainous. And then we'll do all this bottom floating island stuff later. We just want to get a little bit of that feel that it's permanent. It's been around for a while. It's embedded. It's not separate. All right, so that's looking cool. We'll have a nice entrance to this. We'll do some like kind of wooden gate kind of things coming out. Now we are ready to put our roof on. And this has got to get like skinny too. It's got to go in. So I'm going to do it this way. It's going to be like a little bit hollow inside. So we're going to do a little bit of this. So kind of like what we did with the mountain, we're going to round it out a little bit. So we went in 1 block. We're going to come out a little bit on this one. So that's okay. Like this is going to be probably doors coming out, but I'm just going to put blocks for now. If it's a little hard to see what's going on, it'll make sense once I finish it. And so now what we can do is we can come in a little bit more before we do our tower. So we'll do 1 more block inside. So now we got to work on our spire. And so we need to do a perfect circle for this. This is not currently a perfect circle. So there are generators for perfect circles. If you don't know how to make one, I'll show you. It's one for Minecraft. It's donatstudios.com. And you can just search it, Donat Studios Pixel Circle Generator for Minecraft. And so what you want to do is you want to count the number of blocks you're trying to do across. So we're going to do, let's see, we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'd recommend odd numbers, not 8, because 8's going to be a little weird. Watch, I'll show you. So 8 by 8 is just kind of weird. You can do it. Odd numbers are always going to look better, especially if you're going to put a window in it. So if you're going to do it, I would do 7. So you can put a window, or do 9. Because then you can still put a window in there. 9 would be better. So we're going to make this one. This one's got to be a skinny one, though. So we got to make ours smaller. So that means we could do like a 5 tower. 5 would be good. Alternatively, I think a 7 is going to be fine. So let's do 7. Don't do thick. Just do like thin. And it's a little easier to see. Because this is an even-sized building, you don't really have a center, so it's going to be offset, which if you remember inside our drawing, it's supposed to be offset. See that? It's supposed to be offset to the left. So we're going to start from here. We're not going to worry about the center on this particular thing. We'll act like this is the center here. So we're going to go 3 across right here. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to go 1 up and then 1 up. And then here's our next 3. And then we go up 1. And then we're going to go 3 here. So we can fill this in. And then we go up. And then this is the next. We'll just fill all this in because, again, we needed that space. And there's our 3. So this is where our tower is going to go. And from here, you can just go straight up as tall as you want the tower to be. And if you remember, we had a specific height in mind. It's about 3 times the height. Something like this would probably be good enough. And so now we got to do the little cone on the top. So in order to do that, we need to find our center. Well, our center is going to be right here. So we can bring this straight up. This is going to be the pointy end. So this is going to be our pointy part. And from here, we're going to go probably about 3 to 3 down the sides. And then we're going to go out 1 just like this. And then we're going to go down again. So we should have went down only 3. Okay, so that's going to be the spire. And I think the spire is going to have to be a little bit bigger than that. So we'll do another grouping. Basically making an arrow point right now. And then we'll fill it in. Okay, this should be the right height for a spire. So if I'm over here and I see that, that looks like a pretty good height. And I kind of like that it looks more like an arrow versus filled in too much, but we're going to go ahead and fill it in anyway. So how we're going to do that, we're going to make sure we're always padded by 1 block from the edge. So this right here should never touch any edges more than 1 block away. So it'll be like that. So if I put it right here, it's obviously touching the edges. So it's basically padded by 1 block. And then once you're down here, you can see that it's still padded by 1 block. So that's good. Don't worry about the bottom part because this is going to expand out. So that's okay if it's at the bottom. Now let's go check to see how that's looking. Yeah, it looks good. I like it. So now we're going to come outwards on the bottom part. This is just going to come all the way around. Let's just square it out for now. Or actually, let's do a W. Kind of like that. I like the W kind of look. See the W? And again, padding 1 block away. So let's go back to here and we're going to do our 5. So you can see in order to be able to do 5 is just basically a big square with 1 gap like that. So it's basically going to be a big square, 3 by 3 square inside. This would be the inside. These squares here. Do you see where it's empty right here? That's the outside. So we can just do this all the way up. And we can get rid of this middle part. That's just our center. Now, a lot of you have been asking me like, DV, please finish this video. And yeah, it's just going to take a little bit of time for me to do it. Thank you so much for bugging me about it. It does show that you really want to see it. So like I said, it does hurry me along by bugging me. No, I have not quit islands. I keep seeing people saying that oh, DV's like quit islands for Bed Wars. No, I haven't. If that would happen, I would tell you. I wouldn't just string you along. No current plans for that. And in my opinion, more Bed Wars content creators should do islands. I don't know why they don't. Maybe it's because it takes a while to do, it's a lot more work to do them maybe. I mean, these videos are not easy. If I just became a Bed Wars YouTuber, oh man, life would be so easy. But I like a challenge. So we need to make this pointier, and I know how to do it. It's a pretty easy fix, to be honest. So what we need to do is this needs to be a little taller, and then this thing needs to be really tall. So let's fix these, and then we're gonna add a little bit of blocks here just so it's not so jarring. And no, we're not gonna keep this as glass. We're not keeping it as glass. Okay, yeah, that's way better. So we're gonna come out, and then we're gonna come upwards. Let's do something like here, and we're just gonna do a little plus sign. Actually, we'll do a 3x3, because what we're gonna do is something like this. It's a plus sign that is 4 blocks tall, and then we're gonna go up 4 blocks, kind of like that. And then we're gonna come down. We're gonna add a couple more blocks down here so it rounds out, and we're gonna add a couple blocks at the bottom as well. That's kind of cool. It does add a little detail, even though it's a little further out. It's gonna look pretty cool. And this one's gonna be a little lower, probably around here. And this one's gonna have a better support. It's gonna basically fill in this gap too. So we're gonna come out like this. So it has an arch support like that. And then these are gonna come out. So we're gonna do like a 5x like that. And then we're gonna fill in the bottom, give the support some weight to them. And then we're gonna put another spire right here. Yeah, that kind of works. And then we can start on the other side now. So you're gonna come across all the way over here. I'm thinking what we'll probably do is do something like this on this side where it kind of comes out and then up, like out like this or something. Give it a little bit of a dangerous thread to it, something like that. And we'll do it at certain like intervals here. And then over here, we're gonna do something similar to the gates, but they're gonna be much bigger, and they have to be wider too, because this is only 4 across. We should probably do 6 across. So because it is the gates, it's the palace gates. So like you kind of have to have them big. So we'll do something like this. Actually, we'll do it so they're like coming out over like that. And then this is gonna come over slowly. So we need to round it. I don't really like it, but it's gonna work for now. And then we'll bring the gates. So this is gonna stick out a little bit. And then we'll bring our fortress walls into this edge here and go straight up and do a screenshot over it. And then we bring this into Photoshop. What we could do is we could see we need to do a straight here, straight there. We'll have to add some landmass. We could do a circle here. We could do a small circle here, small circle there to block the corners. We'll do a wall here that continues down to about right there. Same here. Actually, this one could be shorter because it is the back. And we'll do a wall here. Same for this. And we're only going to do circles on the outward corners. So if the corner is pointing outwards, we'll do it. If the corner is pointing inwards, we won't do those little spires. And then now this is an outwards corner. So we put a spire here. Then we do a wall, spire, little wall, another wall, spire, bring this out, spire here. There's gonna be a lot of spires. This one doesn't need any spires until the very last corner right there. All right, something like that's good. And then this will be mostly dirt. So there's our outline. So now, now we have an idea of what we're gonna be building, but you can see here, it's gonna be the same distance. So we'll have to do the same distance here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could do a 6 just to have a little extra here. There's 6. And then we got 3 currently, and we'll do 6. And we can put in the dirt afterwards. We're not worried about that. So these spires aren't going to be very big. They're probably only going to be like 4x4s. So if that's the case, what we'll do is we'll make a square here just so we can get an idea of size. So we're basically drawing out our floor plan here. And then this one's going to come back this way just a bit. And then we're going to come back this way. Then we're about to go back inside about right here. And then we're going to come back this way about right here. And then we're going to cut across, then back this way, go back this way. And if you recall, this thing came back in and then it cut. I think this cut later, so we'll bring that back. Then it brought it in. Okay, so we have our path. That's perfect. This is going to be so much easier to do the walls now. Okay, so zooming out, this is the boundary here. This is our fortress. Perfect. You can see a little bit of a sketch, or an idea of what our palace over here is going to look like. And then you can see a little bit of what we're going on here. Again, glass is going to be your friend here. It's just going to save you so much time and effort. This right here is going to be a spire. So each corner on the outside is going to have a spire. Like I said, if this part, let me explain what I meant by that. Because if you're completely lost of what I meant by that, see how this is a corner on the outside. The pointy part is on the outside, right? But if you come over here, which side's the pointy part pointing at? This is the pointy part. This is pointing inwards, so we don't need a spire. This pointy part is outward, so we need a spire. This is outward, so we need a spire. This is inward, so we don't need one. This is outward, so we need a spire. So if that makes sense, we're just basically rounding off our corners so they're not sharp and square looking, and they'll look way more fantasy-like. Essentially what we're going to do is we're going to use these, or this style right here. You'll see in the next video. And then essentially what's going to happen here is we're going to clear most of these hillside, like all this stuff inside is going to get cleared except for the outside hills. Let me know what you're building in the comments below, because I know some of you are building pirate stuff. A lot of you have been inspired. Some of you are building like desert kind of builds. Some of you are building like fantasy islands like this with your own spin. But I'm curious what you're building. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below if you want to keep seeing this, because this has been a lot of fun. Got a lot more to build, and I think I'm only like maybe 3 hours into this so far, and I'm really excited. So thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Peace.